Now we have the new topic, that is extrinsic semiconductors. As we discussed earlier, in the case of intrinsic semiconductor, as the temperature increases, the conductivity increases because the number of charge carriers increases. We cannot increase the conductivity of a semiconductor by increasing the temperature alone. So we look for alternative methods. By adding impurities with intrinsic semiconductors, it is observed that its conductivity increases. So this process of adding impurity atoms with intrinsic semiconductors to increase its conductivity is called as doping. This doped semiconductor is called as the extrinsic semiconductor. Hence, an extrinsic semiconductor consists of impurity atoms which increases its conductivity. And the impurity atoms added in an extrinsic semiconductor, they are called as dopants. Now we will discuss which all elements can be added as dopants in intrinsic semiconductors. So as a result of doping, one dopant atom will be displacing a host atom. Host atom means either a silicon atom or a germanium atom. So a dopant should not distort the crystal lattice of the semiconductor. At the same time, these dopant atoms should have comparable size as that of the intrinsic semiconductor. As we know, in silicon and germanium, there are 4 electrons in the outermost shell and they belong to group 14 in the periodic table. So to ensure that these dopant atoms they have comparable size with that of intrinsic semiconductor, we can choose either group 13 elements or group 15 elements, which are the neighbors of the group 14 elements, as the impurity atoms. So from group 13 we can choose boron, aluminium and indium as impurity atoms, and from group 15 we can choose phosphorus, arsenic and antimony as the impurity atoms. So likewise they are called as trivalent dopants and pentavalent dopants. Group 13 elements, that is boron, aluminium and indium, are called trivalent and the other 3 are called pentavalent dopants. Now we consider the case when a trivalent impurity atom is added to a silicon crystal. So that particular atom will displace a silicon atom and will take its place. That means we are considering an aluminium atom displacing a silicon atom. So in the outermost shell of the aluminium, there are 3 electrons. So those 3 electrons will be taking part in covalent bond formation. But there will be an electron vacancy and it appears as a hole in the crystal structure. So effectively that aluminium atom, it will be donating a hole in the crystal structure, and that hole, since it is an electron vacancy, it has got high electron affinity. That means it will attract the nearby bound electrons towards it. Along with these holes which are produced as a result of doping, there will be intrinsically produced free electron hole pairs. That means with the rising temperature, free electron hole pairs will be created. But this intrinsically produced free electron hole pairs will be less than the number of holes produced by the method of doping. So the thing is this, there are some holes which are produced intrinsically and there are the holes which are produced by doping. So there will be an excess number of holes. That means number of holes in this type of extrinsic semiconductor will be much larger than the number of free electrons. Because of this reason, this type of extrinsic semiconductor is called as p-type semiconductor, because holes are assumed to have an equivalent positive charge. So this type of semiconductor we call it as p-type semiconductor. And the dopant atoms added, I already mentioned that these dopant atoms, they contribute one hole, and that hole is having electron affinity and it is ready to accept an electron. So because of that, the dopant atoms added, they are called as acceptor atom. So in p-type semiconductor, the impurity atoms added are called as acceptor atoms. Likewise, each dopant atom added will contribute a hole in the crystal structure. As we discussed earlier, in this semiconductor also the recombination will be taking place, and in thermal equilibrium both the processes will be taking place at constant rate. By recombination, when the 4 electrons appear in the neighborhood of that dopant atoms, we can say that that dopant atom has become negatively charged because it has got additional 1 electron. According to band theory, what difference is there between p-type semiconductor and an intrinsic semiconductor is this, that is, there occurs an additional energy level or energy band, what we call as acceptor impurity band, which is very close to the valence band. So that acceptor energy level or acceptor energy band, it is very close to valence band, so that the electrons in the valence band will jump to that impurity band and creates vacancies in the valence band. That means holes are created in the valence band. The presence of these holes in the valence band increases the conductivity. Now we will discuss the case when a pentavalent impurity is added. For example, phosphorus. So phosphorus atom displaces a silicon atom from the crystal structure and it takes its place. You know, in the phosphorus atom, in the outermost shell, there are 5 electrons. So of the 5 electrons, 4 will be taking part in the covalent bond formation, and the 5th electron, it becomes most loosely bound to the phosphorus atom. That means it becomes almost free. Very less energy is required to make that electron free. So that energy is available even at room temperature. That way, we can say that each phosphorus atom added contributes 1 free electron to the crystal structure. It is donating 1 free electron. So likewise, added dopant atoms, they are called as donor atoms. So phosphorus or pentavalent impurity atoms added to the intrinsic semiconductor, they are called as donor atoms since they donate free electrons. Along with these free electrons produced, there will be intrinsically produced free electron hole pairs. So we can say that there are free electrons which are produced by the method of doping, and at the same time there are free electrons which are produced intrinsically. So we can say that number of free electrons will be much more than the number of holes, or we can say majority charge carriers are free electrons. Free electrons are much more in number than the holes, so they are the majority charge carriers, and because of that reason this type of extrinsic semiconductor is called as n-type semiconductor. So in both the type of semiconductors, there are both type of charge carriers. Both holes and free electrons are present in both, but one charge carrier is more in number. That is how they are named also. So in p-type semiconductor, holes are majority, and in n-type semiconductor, free electrons are majority. But even then, the crystal structure as a whole, it will be electrically neutral. Even if we call them as n-type and p-type, it doesn't mean that p-type semiconductor is positively charged and n-type is negatively charged. It's not like that. Electrically, they will be neutral. Free electrons in p-type semiconductor and holes in n-type semiconductors are called as minority charge carriers as per their number. Since the pentavalent impurity atoms, they lose 1 electron when it is doped in an intrinsic semiconductor, they become positively charged core in the crystal structure. So according to energy band theory, what is the difference as a result of doping with pentavalent impurity? There arises a band, an additional band called donor impurity band, which is very close to conduction band. So the electrons in the donor impurity band can easily go to the conduction band, which increases the conductivity. So this is how the conductivity increases according to energy band theory. Okay, so the presence of free electrons in the conduction band increases the conductivity. In intrinsic semiconductor, which is made of silicon, the gap between conduction band and valence band, it is around 1.1 electron volt. But when it is doped with pentavalent impurity, the energy gap it decreases to 0.05 electron volt, and that is the gap between donor impurity band and the conduction band. So this 0.05 electron volt of energy, it is easily available even at room temperature. That is how, according to energy band theory, the conductivity increases when it is doped. In the case of germanium, the band gap energy between the conduction band and valence band, it is 0.72 electron volt. And when it is doped with pentavalent impurities, the energy gap it decreases to 0.01 electron volt, which is very less value or low value. So that amount of energy it is easily available even at room temperature, because of which conductivity increases. So in an extrinsic semiconductor, there are both types of charge carriers, and the charge carriers are produced as a result of doping and as a result of intrinsic production. So we have an equation at thermal equilibrium, that is Ne into Nh is equal to Ni square. Ne is the free electron concentration, Nh is the hole concentration, and Ni is the intrinsic charge concentration. The process of adding impurities to an intrinsic semiconductor to increase its conductivity is called as doping, and the doped semiconductors are called as extrinsic semiconductor. The semiconductor crystal maintains an overall charge neutrality, as the charge of additional charge carriers is just equal and opposite to that of the ionized cores in the lattice. And the dopant atoms, the impurity atoms used for doping, they are called as dopants. There are two types of dopants used in doping silicon or germanium: pentavalent and trivalent. Pentavalent impurities are the impurities which belong to group 15, like arsenic, antimony, phosphorus, etc. And trivalent impurity, they belong to group 13, like indium, boron, aluminium, etc. And with the use of these two types of dopant atoms, we will get two types of extrinsic semiconductors, that is N-type and P-type semiconductors. In N-type semiconductors, we use pentavalent impurity. When a pentavalent impurity is added to an intrinsic semiconductor, germanium or silicon crystal, the N-type semiconductor is formed. And corresponding to each impurity atom added, a free electron is created in the crystal. So equal to the number of dopant atoms added, the same number of free electrons will be produced as a result of doping. In an N-type semiconductor, electrons are the majority charge carriers and the holes are the minority charge carriers. As we said earlier, both types of charge carriers will be there. That means the charge carriers which are produced by the method of doping and the charge carriers which are produced intrinsically. And one group will be majority and the other will be minority. Thus, the pentavalent dopant is donating an extra electron for conduction, and it is known as a donor impurity. And the donor impurity, when it is added, the donor core, it becomes positively charged. So arsenic, antimony, phosphorus, bismuth, etc., they are the examples of pentavalent impurities. And to keep in mind, number of free electrons will be much larger than the number of holes. And here we have the energy level diagram of N-type semiconductor. As you can see, an additional energy band appears nearer to the conduction band. So we have three bands here: valence band, a conduction band, and nearer to the conduction band we have the donor band, donor energy band. So the electrons which are there in the donor energy band, it can easily jump to the conduction band, because the gap between the conduction band and ED, it is only 0.01 electron volt, which is very less value, and it can easily jump to that conduction band. So the availability of free electrons in the conduction band increases the conductivity. You can note that only one valence or one vacancy is shown in the valence band here, which means that the number of charge carriers produced as a result of doping is much more than that is produced intrinsically. Now coming to p-type semiconductor, it is produced when a trivalent impurity is added to an intrinsic semiconductor. Corresponding to each impurity atom added, a free hole will be produced in the crystal. In a p-type semiconductor, holes are the majority charge carriers and electrons are the minority charge carriers. And as you can see, the holes are produced. The trivalent impurity atom accepts the electron and is called an acceptor atom. And the core, it appears as a negatively charged core. That means acceptor core will be negatively charged. Now number of free electrons will be much less than number of holes, and that is how holes are called as majority in p-type. The 13th group elements like indium, boron, aluminium and gallium, they are the examples of trivalent impurities. Now here we have the energy level diagram. Here we can see that there arises a new energy band which is very close to the valence band, and that is written as EA, which is very close to the valence band, and that energy gap between EV and EA, it is lying between 0.01 to 0.05 electron volt, depending on whether the intrinsic semiconductor is made of silicon or germanium. So since this energy gap is very small, the electrons from the valence band can easily jump to this EA level. So it is because of that jumping to the EA level, some holes are produced in the valence band. It is the presence of these holes in the valence band which increases the conductivity in p-type semiconductor. And you can note that there is only one free electron shown in the conduction band, which again shows that the number of charge carriers which are produced intrinsically, it is much less than the number of charge carriers produced by the process of doping. With that, we conclude today's lesson. Thank you.